Joe Biden contributed to a crime against humanity. Presidential hopeful Cornel West blasts president. Um, Although I would never vote for Cornel West because he's a socialist, I do admire his intellect. I do admire him being able to not afraid to speak truth to power, even though again, I am diametrically opposed to his views. I do admire him, and he's a very smart individual, even though he's a socialist. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Cornel West, the likely presidential nominee for the Green Party, denounced the president, arguing that during his time in the Senate, quote, Joe Biden contributed to a crime against humanity. And I totally agree with that. And he continues to add upon those crimes, I believe. But he's, quote, well, I think you'll think Joe Biden contributed to a crime against humanity when he became the architect of the mass incarceration regime in the 1990s, the former Harvard professor told the New York Post in an interview published Saturday. And that's true. That's why we call him Crime Bill Joe or Lock 'em Up Joe. He was locking brothers up. I mean, it's people locked up right now, still to this day, because of the crime bill that Joe Biden pushed. And now he pretending like it never happened. Like, how black people forget this and vote for this guy, I would never understand. But West was referring to the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, which then Senator Biden of Delaware sponsored in 1994, that earmarked billions of dollars for prisons and hiring of thousands of new police. Quote, I've taught in prison for 41 years, and the level of bribery in our prisons has something to do with that crime bill that he put forward, West added. And as a prison therapist myself, I was a prison therapist for almost 4 years. I will say it's a lot of bribery and stuff that goes on in those prisons. I mean, you'd be surprised at, we call them walkouts. You'd be surprised at the amount of walkouts that would happen. That basically, the people would try to sneak stuff into the prison, try to sneak drugs and stuff and contraband into the prison, and they would be walked out by security and escorted by police and arrested and stuff like that. I mean, you would never know. I remember when I was in when I first started working at the prison, we had to do training and stuff like that. And the trainer was like, half of you people will be walked out. Almost half of you people will be walked out of this prison. And I was stunned. I was like, no way, no way. And I looked around, and sure enough, I can't say half, but a lot of people that I came in with ended up being walked out the prison for sneaking in contraband and stuff like that. I mean, it is very, very corrupt. Well, quote, black folks are a low priority to Biden, West argued, criticizing the president for placing, quote, black faces in high places rather than addressing underlying issues. And again, when he was running, I told you that Biden was going to do this. When he started running, I was like, do y'all really believe this old man will have black people interests at heart? No. And then Biden had the audacity to say, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. So he's the arbiter of who is black and who's not. And people fell for that. Like, I don't get it. I would never understand the so-called black culture. But the presumptive Green Party nominee gave Biden a C on race relations in America. A C. Wow. I wouldn't give him that. I would give him an F. But the outspoken activist also hammered Biden for allegedly, quote, slowing down and lacking the cognitive ability to meet the demands of office. It's very clear that his cognitive powers are in decline. Yeah, and Democrats still won't admit that. But according to an analysis conducted by Politico, in the previous two national elections, the Green Party underperformed compared to libertarian candidates. In 2016, Jill Stein garnered barely over 1% of national votes. Her successor, Howie Hawkins, did even worse, failing into place on more than half of state ballots across the nation in 2020. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all know I read a lot of news, I study a lot because I'm very interested in this stuff. But I've never even heard of Howie Hawkins. Never even heard of this individual, and that's odd for me. That tells you how much of a presence Howie Hawkins actually was. But quote, West could be more formidable, however. He's a longtime public figure who could harness some of the liberal dissatisfaction with Biden's presidency so far, particularly among other solidly Democratic voting blocs, the outlet argued on Saturday morning. However, West's announcement to run for the Green Party nomination in June has spooked many prominent figures in the Democrat Party camp who fear that his candidacy might steal crucial votes from Biden in 2024. I mean, they're already attacking this brother. It's sickening. But quote, this is not the time in order to experiment. This is not the time to play around on the margins, DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison, a close confidant to the president, warned in early July, the Hill reported. And David Axelrod, former President Barack Obama chief strategist, struck a similar chord. Quote, in 2016, the Green Party played an outsized role in tipping the election to Donald Trump. Now with Cornel West as their likely nominee, they could easily do it again. So they're afraid. So why aren't they running a better candidate? Because they know they don't want the better. There's one better candidate that I think would have a chance to win, and that's RFK Jr. But he's too much of an outsider. He's anti-establishment, and they don't want him. But so they're gonna push forward. They're gonna, if they have to wheel out Joe Biden, they're gonna do that. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.